Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I'm a geek, you're watching Kevin the Geek, and welcome back to more Dave Gorman. If you missed it earlier on this month, I did the final episode of the series Are You Dave Gorman, and next month we will be beginning Dave Gorman's important astrology experiment. But for right here, we need to see how modern life is good-ish. A prince, not an estate agent.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dave Gorman, and I think modern life is good-ish. Which is a good job, seeing as that's the name of the show I'm presenting. To make my case, I brought along my laptop. I've loaded up with things I want to show you. Now, the train of thought we're going to pursue in this particular show started a while ago when I was doing an interview for a local newspaper, and I thought the interview started with a difficult question. I don't think it was a particularly nice opening question. See what you think. The opening question was, do you think you're a Marmite sort of person? Do you think you're a Marmite sort of person? And by the way, those inverted commas, that isn't my interpretation. That's not a tone of voice thing. They were there. She put them there with her fingers. There were air quotes. Now, doesn't that seem like a tricky question to you? Because surely what that means is, I hate you, but my flatmate kind of likes you. What do you think about that? Or possibly it means, I kind of like you, but my flatmate hates you. What do you think about that? Either way, I don't think it's possible to answer it without sounding like something of a wanker. If I disagree, she'll make it sound like I've said, me? Nobody hates me. And if I agree, it'll sound like I'm overly concerned with what people think of me. So I tried my hardest to answer it in a self-effacing way by saying, well, I just do what I do and leave it to other people to think whatever they think. And I think it's the important thing is to not invest too much faith in the praise or the abuse because it's all just words. And then she went, no, sorry. I just mean, do you like Marmite? That's not bloody fair, is it? That's not what are you a Marmite sort of person means, is it? Let me be clear, this wasn't an interview for the Yeast Extract Gazette. I wasn't talking to Brackish Spreads Monthly. And if she really did mean, do you like eating Marmite, why did she put the air quotes around the word
Yeah, why
Marmite?
don't you just say, do you like Marmite?
Because that changes the meaning, doesn't it? Do you like Marmite means, do you like Marmite? But do you like Marmite means, do you like... We all know what I'm talking about, and it isn't Marmite. Which is weird, because I don't know what she could be talking about. If your mum called you up and said, oh, your Uncle Terry's got a problem with his upper leg, that means he's got a problem with his upper leg. But if Terry's got a problem with his upper leg, he's probably got a problem with his arse. Or his balls. If you put air quotes around a word, you're basically saying, I don't mean this word literally. That's the rule.
Yeah.
The one word you can't put them around is the word you actually mean. That's why nobody's ever said, blimey, have you heard about Steve? He's had to have his foreskin removed. No one's ever said that. And it's not as if the Marmite phrase isn't widely used, is it? Everyone in the world knows what it means. The Belfast Telegraph get it, don't they? Neil Lennon, the Marmite man in this column. The columnist says, Neil Lennon is like Marmite. You either love him or you hate him. That's the correct use of the phrase, isn't it? The Independent know what it means, just like Marmite. Our love-hate affair with Marmite. They understand what it means, don't they? Of course they do. On Twitter, everyone seems to understand that. I'm like Marmite. You either love me or you hate me, says this person. I think I'm just like Marmite. Love me or hate me? Question mark. Bit needy, but there you go. This person gets it. Marmite divides opinion. That's the point of it, isn't it? I divide opinion like Marmite. He understands. He understands it, and I'm not convinced he understands the English language. What the hell does that mean? I'm dense without any of the...
That's obviously Harvey Dent from Batman. Right. The thing with Marmite, the reason why it is so divisive and why some people like it, some people don't. Now, if I'm wrong with this, I have been led wrong by my secondary school science teacher from the age of about 15. So, Miss Fitzgerald, if I'm wrong, if someone proves me wrong, it's your fault. You've given me this information. But apparently, the reason that Marmite, you either love it or you don't like it, is because of the yeast, but there's also some sort of enzyme which is in your mouth. And apparently, whether you have too much or too little of that enzyme determines effectively the flavour of the Marmite and either makes it a really horrible taste or actually a quite nice, pleasant taste. Me, Marmite, it's not one that I go out of my way to buy, but I don't mind it. It's not like disgusting and horrible. It's not the most amazing thing either. It's fine.
What? What is this madness? I don't know, but it appears to be a madness that redefines the meanings of the words dent and burn, as far as I can tell. What on earth are you on about, man? All these people understand it, so how come I've ended up being interviewed by the one person who doesn't know what the phrase means?
Oh, that quote, is that the one? Because the very first episode of Modern Life is Goodish that I watched was from like series 5. It was like the Are You a Geek kind of episode. That was the very first one I watched, and then since then I've watched all through in order. I have a feeling actually that episode referred back to that quote and people responded to it. You know, when the time comes, I might actually go back and do another, like a second reaction to that so that I can kind of get the references a bit more.
Really put me off my stride in that interview. I wasn't really concentrating. In the next 5 minutes, she was asking questions and I was answering them, but I knew I wasn't really listening. I was just thinking about the Marmite question. So after a while, I had to own up. So I just said, look, I'm really sorry, I'm not quite here. Why did you want to know about Marmite? And she said, well, it tells you quite a lot about a person, doesn't it?
Does it?
Because people either love it or they hate it. No, it doesn't tell you quite a lot about a person, does it? It tells you precisely one thing about a person.
Yes.
It tells you whether or not they like Marmite. Nobody is sitting around thinking, if only we'd asked if Jimmy Savile liked Marmite, are they? We could have dealt with it so much sooner. We would have known. Because it doesn't tell you anything about a person except whether they like Marmite. I have actually met one other person who has misunderstood the phrase, but they misunderstood it in a different way. That person is my wife. A few years ago, I was touring a stage show, and the stage show was called PowerPoint Presentation, okay? But obviously, before you print posters and leaflets and send that out and spend the money, I asked a few friends and colleagues, you know, what do they think of the title? Should I do this or should I call it something else? And when I asked my wife, she said, oh, it's very, very Marmite, isn't it? I said, is it? I mean, it's just a word, it's just a title. Do you think people are actually going to hate a title? And she said, no, I mean, it does what it says on the tin.
No, that's Ronseal.
You can't get those two mixed up. What the hell have you done to our fence? More to the point, what the hell have you been putting in my sandwiches? This is the speed of communication in our modern world. The internet means words travel, but so do mistakes. And some of them take hold. So language changes, and it's changing, I think, faster than it's ever changed before. Lots of phrases are changing their meaning. This is one that seems to have changed recently, and completely and utterly changed. The phrase man flu. Yeah?
Oh!
You've all heard the phrase man flu, I'm sure.
Yeah,
You're all
I hate
familiar
that
with the
phrase.
phrase man flu. You all know what man flu means. Obviously, it is short for Manchester Flu-nited. Yeah? Everyone knows that. It's not. It's not. I made that bit up. It's not. No, according to Wikipedia, man flu means this. Man flu is a pejoratively used phrase that refers to the idea that men, when they have a cold, exaggerate and claim they have the flu. You see? It's a pejoratively used phrase. It's an insult. It is used by women to insult men.
Yeah.
The idea is that we are weaklings who like to complain. So when a man has the sniffles, he will pretend that he is dying of pneumonia when he clearly isn't. That's the idea. That's what is behind this phrase. That's what it means. But the other day, chatting to a friend of mine, and her name's Anna, she looked a little bit tired, so I said, are you all right? She went, oh, I'm really stressed out. I'm trying to work out how to do the school run later. I said, well, can't Paul do it? She went, nah, he's at home, he's ill, he's got man flu. I said, all right. He's trying it on a bit, is he? She went, no, he's really bad. It's a proper man flu. No, that's not what that means.
No.
There is a phrase for what he's got. It's the flu. You can't call it man flu, it doesn't make sense anymore. That's not what it means. That's the opposite of what it means. And she's not the only one. If you search for the words on Twitter, you will find an endless stream of people using the phrase to mean the exact opposite of what it actually means.
I know, I was at work recently and I literally had the sniffles. And it's just, it's that time of year. You get the sniffles, and literally, I'm there because I don't like to take a day off, sick unless I'm literally at that store. I had a bit of a headache. I had the sniffles. I was sneezing quite a bit, and itchy eyes, runny eyes, that kind of thing. And literally, a girl I work with, she's like, "Oh, Kevin, have you got the man flu?" I'm like, "No, I'm not complaining. I'm just working. I'm getting on with my job, and I'm taking my Lemsips, and I'm taking my soothers to kind of soothe my sore throat. I'm not complaining. I'm just getting on with work. I've got the sniffles. It's what people get."
Please don't peer pressure me into town, because I am literally writing my will. That's the seriousness of this man flu.
See,
that doesn't make sense if it ends with "that's the seriousness of what I'm making up about myself," does it? It's nonsense. It's official. I've got man flu, sweating and shivering at the same time. Horrible. Those are the symptoms of the flu.
Yeah.
Not man flu. And you can see the people at the channel, they won't let me show you the names or the photos of the people on Twitter that I'm saying this about. They've made me censor these, which is a real shame, because it means I'm not allowed to tell you how much I love this person's father, who is Kenny Dalglish. I'm not allowed to tell you who he is, but anyway. The thing is, I'm not sure which of these next two people has got the worst grasp of human anatomy.
Right.
See what you think. No. No. They can't do that. That's not right at all. They can't. That's not right. And man flu isn't worse than that. Now, this next one might be using the phrase correctly, for all I know. It's very hard to tell. But I don't think they understand anatomy. Yeah. I just feel like when you can push 4 human beings out your vag, I do apologise, then and only then do you have the right to complain about your man flu. Believe me, if you're a man and you can push 4 human beings out your vag, man flu is the least of your worries.
Yeah.
Or maybe what's happening here is that she can't spell, and when she says flu, she means F-L-U-E, and she's referring to her foo-foo as her man flu. I can only apologise for the image.
Yeah, thanks for that, Dave.
But how can so many people not know what the phrase means? As far as I can tell from Googling, about 50% of people think it means what it's supposed to mean, and 50% of people think it means the exact opposite. And that makes the phrase completely bloody useless for all of us, doesn't it? If someone has a day off work with man flu, the boss doesn't know whether to send flowers or a P45. To be honest, at first, I judged these people harshly. But I've come to realise that what they're doing here is actually a political act. Oppressed groups take the insults that are used against them and make them their own. Just as some parts of the gay community have taken the word queer and made it theirs, just as certain parts of the black community have reappropriated the N-word, so men who, whenever they have had the flu, have been accused of faking it, have taken back the insult and neutralised it. And yes, I am aware that I am comparing the struggle of relatively affluent men who happen to have a cold with the struggles of genuinely oppressed minorities. The flu war is the closest that some of us are going to get, all right?
Yeah.
Exactly, right on, yeah. This is another phrase that's been completely mangled recently, postcode lottery. So basically, if I said, my gran's been on the waiting list for a new hit for ages. This woman who only lives 1 street away got hers within a month. It's a bloody postcode lottery. That would be using it correctly.
Right.
Now, which magazine understand it? They've used the phrase correctly here. That's the correct use of it. Absolutely, of course it is, yeah. The Mail, they've used it correctly there. They understand, of course they do. All these people on Twitter, they've all used the phrase in the correct context. So how do we go from a world in which everyone knows what that phrase means to this?
The postcode lottery!
The postcode lottery! You can't do that. You can't take a negative phrase and just use it in a jolly voice and hope we haven't noticed. If you can, I'm going to start a new business selling friendly fires. Why not? Why not? Postcode lottery? How does a postcode lottery even work?
You play with your postcode.
Oh, right, okay.
There we go. I've never done the postcode
If
lottery.
you've seen the ads, you'll know that you can win some decent money. I mean, look at that. That woman there, she's won 30 grand. It's a lot of money. Life-changing. I wonder how she is going to change her life.
Derek, we're on to Benidorm!
Hey! Going to Benidorm.
Benidorm, that's the answer.
Benidorm, baby.
Still, you can't blame her for being excited, can you? 30 grand, a lot of cash. And they obviously film these things in order to capture that excitement, and the punters always deliver. So you get people reacting like this. Yeah, it's real excitement, isn't it? But this is my favourite of all time.
£10,000.
Ah, you've just got to see this.
All right.
No, you haven't seen him react yet. How do you think he's going to react? How excited can one man be? I'll show you when we come back.
Oh, damn it. Right, back in a sec. Okay, more like 4 or 5 seconds.
Welcome back. My name's Dave Gorman, and this is Modern Life is Goodish. Now, before the break, I showed you a couple of clips of people reacting to big wins on the postcode lottery. There was this.
Derek, we're on to Benidorm.
Oh, yeah, and there was this.
Yeah.
But
And
I've held back my favourite, which is this man.
£10,000.
His reaction is truly incredible.
come on, just give
Are
it
you
to
ready
us,
for this?
Dave.
Are you ready for this?
There.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Polite, measured, incredible. That's my
Nice.
kind of fella, absolutely. Of course.
That'll probably be me.
Now, earlier on, I told you about a journalist who thought you could tell a lot about a person from whether or not they liked Marmite, which is
Yeah.
nonsense, obviously. However, I do think you can tell a lot about a person from whether they prefer Christmas or Easter. So you, sir,
Okay.
what would you put yourself down as? Christmas person
Christmas.
there. And you, sir? Christmas again. And, oh, there's an Easter person on the third row there. Okay, is it the catering that does that for you? Because I think that's what defines these things for me. Obviously, with Christmas, you get like turkey, Christmas pudding, mince pies.
The
With
eggs,
Easter,
chocolates.
chocolate eggs. You get your simnel cake. You get your peach and apricot Fanta. Why is that funny?
I don't know, actually.
Peach and apricot Fanta. At Easter, you get a big 2-litre bottle from your mum.
I can't say I've ever had it,
Don't
actually.
look at me like I'm making this up.
I don't know, are you?
If this isn't a thing, why the hell does that poster exist? That's what I want to know.
Oh, my word.
Welcome, Easter! Welcome, fun! What says Easter and fun more clearly than a 2-litre bottle of peach and apricot Fanta, ladies and
Nice.
gentlemen? And what could say more about a mother's love for her children than a post-it note saying, "Love, Mum," attached to a 2-litre bottle of pop? I've not wrapped it, it's colourful enough already. How dare they? How dare they try and get this past us? And I'm not suggesting that all public holidays should be devoid of marketing. If your business is making Easter eggs go for your life, sell, 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 you have to, really, that's what you do.
Yeah.
But everyone else can sod off. The greeting cards industry, they are amongst the worst offenders.
Oh.
Easter cards, stop it. Am I imagining this, or did we used to manage perfectly well without sending cards at Easter?
Yes.
I don't think I ever saw an Easter card when I was growing up. I certainly didn't send any. The first one I ever got, I got about 5 years ago. One arrived, I thought, that's odd. Then every year since, there's been 1 or 2 more, and now I'm getting about a dozen of the things. How did that happen? This is how the greetings card industry works. They operate by stealth. All they have to do is print a card and get it into a shop. And then guilt will do the rest.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Someone somewhere has gone into a card shop to get a birthday card, and when they're in there, they've seen the Easter cards on the shelf. And instead of thinking, "Oh, I've never sent or received one of those before, I'm an adult," they've seen them and thought, shit. They're in the shops, they must be a thing.
Yeah.
I'd better get some. And if that person sends 10 cards, that's 10 people saying, "Darling, we've had an Easter card from Barry. We better send him one back." And soon, everyone's sending them, because it spreads like a virus. They create the demand for their own product through guilt. High five me if I'm right, sir. High five me if I'm right. No, do it properly.
I'm really bad when it comes to greeting cards in general, birthdays, Christmas, Easter, whatever. Really, these days, the only one I'm really going to buy one for is my nephew. Yeah, because he's a kid. You know, even kids like cards. But I'm at the point, like, I don't give birthday cards. I don't do Mother's Day cards. I don't do Christmas cards, really, to be honest. Because, you know, like when I get a birthday card or a Christmas card, as a grown adult, I'll open it up, I'll look at it and go, oh, that's a nice message. That's a nice gesture. Look at it. Dear Kevin, happy birthday, love, Mum, blah, blah, blah. Thank you. put it on there, and that will be it. You know, I mean, if it's one that's like from a nephew, for example, if he writes me a card, even though I know it's really my sister that's done it, I will still feel a bit more, oh, that's really cute, and I will go to him and I'll say, thank you for my birthday card, blah, blah, blah. But from anyone else, I'm just like, well, thank you for a bit of card, and it's going to go in a recycling bin, and you've paid £2, and I'll have it up out of obligation on the mantelpiece for a couple of weeks, because I feel obligated to do so, but then it's just going to get recycled and thrown away. So, yeah, you might call me a bit of a Grinch when it comes to greeting cards, but I'm just not a fan.
Exactly, and that's how they work, because you couldn't not do it, could you? You can't leave a high five hanging, just like you can't leave a card hanging, can you? Someone sends one to you, you have to send one back, basically. A Christmas card is basically a voucher saying you owe me a Christmas card. These are guilt bombs, that's all they are. That's what cards do to me now. The other day, I found myself thinking, shit, I didn't get the gas board anything when they were out. This is madness. Madness, and it's drummed into us as kids. It starts with Christmas. When you were at school, they'd have a cardboard box painted to look like a post box, and you could use it to send cards to other kids in your class, yeah? You did that? Everyone did that? You're 7, one of you says, oh, I've got 10 cards now, how many have you got? And that's it. You are scarred for life from that point on. You think you're in a competition, and a week later, you're all going, oh, I've got 24 cards, how many have you got? Yeah, I've got 24 as well. What about you? Yeah, I've got 24. And you don't realise you've all got 24 because there are 25 kids in your class. You don't know anyone else because you're 7, do you? Well, we used to get a selection box, right? Something like this, right? This is actually much nicer than the ones I got as a kid. But you do the same thing. You'd get your selection box and you'd sort through the designs and you'd work out which were your favourites.
Yep.
And you'd send your best friends the ones you liked the most.
Yeah.
And you'd send the people you didn't really like but who you wanted to get a card back from, you would send them the least favourite things.
Yeah.
And it never occurred to us that we were all doing exactly the same
Yeah.
thing. We were counting up how many cards we had and thought that's what mattered, and it's not. And we all had the same favourites.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that everyone here and everyone at home is looking at that selection and...
Oh, right. Right. What's your predictions? My favourite out of those, if I had to go in order, I would probably go the kind of snowy scene in the top right. Then I would maybe go the Robin one at the middle bottom. Then I'd go Santa and Snowman, top left. Then I would go... Ooh, it's a toss-up between the penguins and the presents. I would go presents, penguins, and then lastly, the 3 wise men. Or kings, whatever they are.
thinking, yep, I like the penguins.
No.
Best card in the box, and
No.
you know it. You know it, don't you?
Not for me.
Yeah. I mean, you go through it, you think, well, I guess that'll do, that's nice, yeah. Santa's jolly. You'd rather it was a cartoon Santa than an oil painting Santa, but it'll
I like
do,
that
it's
one.
nice. Boring!
Yeah, boring.
Basically, we shouldn't have been counting cards. We all had the same number of cards. What we should have been doing was counting what sort of cards, basically, shouldn't we? If it was more penguins than wise men, you were a popular kid, I'm telling you. More wise men than penguins, and you were a loser, my friend.
Yep.
And I speak as a man who had a lot of wise men cards. But this
Same.
is how the greetings card industry works. This is how they snare you, and they never stop trying it on. Look, I get my dad a Father's Day card. I'm not an animal. But this is ridiculous. I'm about to show you 3 Father's Day cards that I bought on Bethnal Green Road Market this year. Okay?
Right.
Now, this one is fine, okay? It's not necessarily to my taste, but it's okay. It's just a regular card for a regular dad. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But this isn't right at all. With love, Grandad. Father's Day.
Yeah.
It's not Grandad's Day, it's Dad's Day.
Yeah.
And if he's a granddad, he's also a dad. So there ought to be someone who's already buying him a card.
Yeah.
It's not your job, is it? And if you think that's bad, take a look at this. Happy Father's Day.
Oh, my
Love
God.
you lot's great-granddad. Great-granddad. Now, firstly, I suspect this says something about the teenage pregnancy rate in East London. For enough people to have surviving great-grandparents to make this a commercially viable item, there's got to be. But secondly, what the hell are they doing? I'll tell you what they're doing, I'll tell you. If one man has 2 sons,
Yeah.
And each of his sons also have 2 sons.
Yeah.
And each of them also have 2 sons. You
Yeah.
end up with a family of 15 people who would be the subject of some scientific research because of their ability to breed without women. But, if on Father's Day each person sent a card to their dad, that would be 14 cards, okay?
Yeah.
But if they also sent cards to their granddads and to their great-granddads,
Yeah.
that would mean 34 cards being sent. Printing these 2 cards more than doubles their business. That is evil, surely.
Yeah.
But that's how they work. They just plant the seed and let guilt do the rest. That's why you sometimes see a shop window saying, "We've got cards for every occasion." Well, don't have. Not every occasion requires one.
Yeah.
But if they make them and one person buys one, then others will follow. If they put this card in the shops, in 10 years' in 10 years' time, we'd all be sending them. If you don't believe me, I promise you it'll happen. If you don't believe me that something is wrong with the greetings cards industry, then take a look at this Valentine's Day card. This is from an online card company called Zazzle.
Right.
And there is something very, very wrong with this card. See if you can spot it. And I'll tell you what it is when we come back from this short break.
Okay. Is it because the heart is decorated in the pattern that you'd only see on comedy underpants?
Welcome back. This is Modern Life is Goodish. My name's Dave Gorman, and before the break, I told you there was something wrong with this Valentine's card. Now, what's wrong with it, ladies and gentlemen, is the message that goes inside it.
Ah.
Valentines were meant to be anonymous and secretive, so I thought when I saw this that the message was going to be something like, "Oh, I love you, but I'm keeping it under my hat," or something like that. But no,
Yeah.
it wasn't that, no. What the message is this.
What?
No! No, 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 no,
No.
no!
No, no,
I
no,
love
no,
my
no.
dad. I'm not embarrassed to say that, Dad, if you're watching, I love you. But that is not what Valentine's Day is.
No!
It's hard enough buying him presents for Christmas and for birthdays without having to stop and wonder about how many red roses wouldn't be. He is a very hard man to buy for, my dad. You know, I obviously have my normal commitments to buying him presents, and it is tricky. It feels a bit wrong asking someone. You feel like you've let them down if you say, "What do you want for your birthday?" But that's what happened with me and him this last year. I gave in, I said, "What do you want?" And he said, "It's fine, just get me a pullover." And I said, "All right, anything in particular? Have you seen anything? You got your eye on anything?" He said, "Well, yes, actually. I think Prince William has grown up to be a very well-presented young man. I quite like his style, so maybe one like his would be good."
Okay.
Really? Okay. Surprised me, I'll go with that. I said, "Anything that you've seen him, you want to show me a picture?" He went, "Well, actually, he's on the front of a magazine right now, wearing one that I really like."
Okay.
So, right, what magazine? And when he told me, I thought, hello, I wasn't expecting that. And there it is, hello, I wasn't expecting that. I thought, okay, I think I can do this. You know, I'll try my hardest to get the right jumper. Now, it's worth saying, incidentally, even though you could all go to the Hello magazine website for free, and within 2 or 3 or 4 mouse clicks, you could be looking at this cover. Mm-hmm. And even though, if you'd all walked into a newsagent's when the magazine was current, you could have seen this cover for free with your own 2 eyes. Despite all that, for me to actually show you this cover now in this context, legally, I am supposed to get in touch with Hello and ask them for permission. So I have asked, and they've said no. However, I've looked into it, and apparently I am allowed to show it to you if it's for the purposes of criticism and review. So,
Okay.
If I offer an opinion on how well designed it is, or if I compare it to other magazines of the type or what have you, then that's okay. So I just want to say that this is shit. There's no getting around it. That is one of the worst magazine covers I have ever seen in my life. It looks like the sort of shit that would be designed by paranoid, overprotective idiots. It's a shame they've rather forced that out of me. I'd have preferred to have kept my opinion to myself, really.
Yeah, interesting that.
Anyway, that is the jumper that my dad asked me to get, and I did my best. In fact, I did pretty well. I've got it with me here. See what you think of it. I think I've done a pretty good job with that. I think... Who wouldn't be happy with that? Who? Who wouldn't be happy with that, ladies and gentlemen? I'll tell you. I'll tell you who wouldn't be happy with that. My dad wasn't happy with that. Refuses to wear it. There is no pleasing some people.
No, I wonder that. Funny.
Honestly, no pleasing. Now, in many ways, I'm sure it hasn't escaped your attention, I am quite like Prince William.
Oh, yeah?
Like him, I controversially married a commoner. There she is.
Was that Mrs. Gorman?
Although, unlike Kate, she also married a commoner, so maybe we're not that similar. And let me say, incidentally, I'm not being insulting to my wife when I say commoner. She is an amazing woman. I love her with all my heart, I really do. I will tell you this about Mrs. Gorman. She makes a mean lasagna. She really does. I felt that. You reacted, you all flinched. You're one of those audiences, you did that thing, you're trying to work out where I'm going with things, you all thought you're getting ahead of the game. You all did it at the same time. You all heard the word mean, and you thought, yeah, there's going to be a joke there. Yeah, I know what he's doing. He's going to be using the word mean in the sense of parsimonious, yeah? He's going to be suggesting that Mrs. Gorman scrimps and saves on the luxurious ingredients within her lasagna, but goes to town on the cheap bits, making a thin, gruelly mix for her dish.
I didn't think that.
That wasn't what I was doing at all. You judged me incorrectly. You judged me for a joke that you did in your own head. So it had nothing to do with it.
Clearly.
No, when I said she makes a mean lasagna, I was using the word mean in the sense of average. You know, I've had better, I've had better, I've had better, I've had worse.
That's the thing, if I said I make a mean lasagna, it means I make a damn good lasagna. That's how I would do that. Not being average, which I guess is actually the proper grammatical way to put it. But no, if I say mean, it means good.
It really is, it's right there. It really is a very, very acceptable lasagna. It really is. Very, very acceptable fare. But while Prince William and I, and that really is a terrible cover, isn't it, really? While Prince William and I, we do have a lot in common. You know, for example, myself and Mrs. Gorman, we got married about a year before he did. Like them, we were married on a Friday. Like them, presumably because it made the venue cheaper. But while we do have a lot in common, there are some differences as well. I might be a few years older than him, but I think I'm a bit more modern in some ways. For example, I wear a wedding ring, you can see it there, and he, controversially, does not.
Now there are reports that he will not wear a traditional wedding ring.
It looks like the royal ring bearer will only be responsible for one piece of jewelry when Prince William and Kate Middleton say their I do's. This finger is bare, and it's staying that way.
What do you think about that? Should the prince, who may one day be king, wear a wedding ring? Let us know.
Yeah. That was Fox News at the end there, being all extra perky, and tell us what you think. No. You're the news. You tell us what you think. If I feel like it, I'll tell my friends what I think. The media is obsessed with this idea of us having our say. We've never had more say. We've also never voted less. But that's by the by. Because for a brief moment, all over the world, people were asking that question. And all over the world, or certainly all over the World Wide Web, people were climbing on their high horses and having their say.
Oh.
Which is useful for me, because I have a little hobby.
Yeah. Vampire time!
The more eccentric comments I find littered about the internet, and I like to give them new life.
Yes.
Which is what I've done with people's comments on this particular topic.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've turned them into something that I like to call a found poem that I would like to perform
for you now. Love this bit. So good. And so simple.
I, for one, am disgusted by them both.
Mm-hmm.
If I was Kate, I would refuse to marry him over this. It is totally chauvinistic on his part. If she goes along with it, she is a weak and pathetic woman. She is a doormat. And that's exactly what the royals want.
There is it.
Another doormat. You mark my words. She might appear on a commemorative tea towel. But in reality, she is just a commemorative doormat. A commoner commemorative doormat. Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that she'll be wearing her wedding ring. She'll be wearing it every day to remind us all of what she's achieved. You mark my words, She'll be rubbing our noses in it for the rest of her days. The man that lives next door to me doesn't wear a wedding ring. He is Chinese. I just hope he doesn't go the way of his father, Prince Charles of Wales.
Oh, I thought you meant the neighbour.
He wears a signet ring on his pinky. It is most unhip. Lawrence Llewelyn-Bowen does the same. And so does Alan Titchmarsh. For crying out loud! Of course he is not going to wear a wedding ring. He is a prince, not an estate agent. I don't understand all the fuss.
No.
I wear a wedding ring, but I take it off when I'm on the pull. William is just being more honest. Poor Kate, poor Kate. It's all going wrong for poor little Kate. First, he gave her a second-hand engagement ring. And now this. Their marriage is doomed. Poor Kate.
Not at the moment.
Kate. It's all going wrong for poor little Kate. If men no longer make their wives wear chastity belts, I can see no reason why women should insist on their husbands wearing wedding rings. My husband doesn't wear a ring, and neither do I, especially in the summer. The hot weather makes our fingers swell. I thank you. The Bill Ross Quartet, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after this short break.
Oh. That's the bit I look forward to the most every episode. That is just always so ingenious. Oh.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Modern Life is Goodish. My name is Dave Gorman, and in this episode, the area of modern life we're discussing is, in a roundabout way, family life. It's the family politics that surround present giving that really throws it into relief for me. Now, I told you earlier that my dad is very hard to buy for, and he is, but I think that's because I like to buy him presents rather than gifts. And there is a difference between a present and a gift, isn't there? Everyone knows that. I can see you looking at me a little bit confused. There's a difference. You know there is. Gifts are what we get for people when we've given up on thinking. Gifts are things that no one has ever bought for themselves. Presents are things that you would buy for yourself if you knew it existed and you wanted it. As Christmas approaches, department stores will put up tables full of gift ideas, and those tables are full of paperweights and executive toys and novelty calendars and small boxes containing sample-sized bottles of various condiments, and nobody, not one person, has ever looked at one of those tables and thought, oh, do you know what? I'll have one of those for myself. Because they're not things you buy for yourself, are you? You don't want to walk into a shop thinking, oh, I hope I can find a tin of talcum powder that looks like a mobile phone. That's exactly what I think of when I think of Uncle Terry, especially now I know about the problem he's having with his upper leg. And his scrotum. Gifts are a very special sort of product. They exist purely to be given to people. Gifts are essentially greetings cards, but more expensive.
Yeah.
You buy gifts from gift shops. You know where you buy presents from? Shops. I know it sounds a bit complicated, but I also know that instinctively we all know the difference between a present and a gift, and I'll demonstrate that now with a few examples. I know you'll understand where these go in the chart. That there is a rainbow-coloured knitted willy warmer. Ladies and gentlemen, from your gut, you know where this one belongs. Is that a present or is it a gift? It's a gift. One person said present down here. Which makes you an idiot, sir. It's clearly a gift, isn't it? It's not a present.
Yeah.
That's not lipstick. That is a hip flask in the shape of a lipstick. Is that a present or is it a gift? It's a gift, of course. These are easy ones to start you off, obviously. A pair of socks. Is that a present or is it a gift? No, it's not a gift, is it? No. If it was a gift, you would never have bought a pair of socks for yourself in your whole life. It's a present. You buy socks for yourself. You like socks. It might not be the most expensive of presents, but it's still a present. It's a present. Clearly, they are things you buy for yourselves at some point. A Susan Boyle CD called The Gift.
Gift. I'd never buy a Susan Boyle CD.
You're saying gift? No, no, no. Take your prejudice out of this. Just because you don't like Susan Boyle doesn't mean that nobody does. In fact, lots of people really like her, don't they? If you ask the people who'd been given a knitted willy warmer a year ago where their knitted willy warmer is, not one of them could tell you where it is.
Yeah.
You ask the people who've been given a Susan Boyle CD where it is, and they will tell you a year later. It is in the CD collection between the two Michaels, Ball and Bublé, isn't it? It's a present. Take your prejudice out of this, OK? Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Oh, present.
What do you think? Present, you're getting the hang of it, you see.
Yeah.
It's the book that people would like and would sometimes buy for themselves. The unofficial Harry Potter joke and riddle book.
Gift.
You see, you understand,
Yeah.
exactly. A shirt.
Ooh, present.
Of course it is. And sometimes someone buys you a shirt that you don't like. It's still a present because they were attempting to buy you a shirt that you did like. It's the thought, that's what counts, obviously. Name a star.
Oh, gift.
Name a star. It's a gift. There's a clue. It's in a gift box, isn't there? There's
Yeah.
a big clue. That's a ridiculous thing as well.
Yeah.
It's never the important stars that get renamed by these people, is it? You never turn on the news and have, oh, it's 6 o'clock news. And oddly, Jim's mum has had the sun named after her. And now the weather. Well, we can expect to see quite a lot of Jim's mum later on today. Doesn't happen, does it? It's useless. 25 quid to somebody for nothing. What about a scented candle? A scented candle.
Present.
Oh, it's tricky, that one, isn't it? No one's sure. We thought we understood, and it turns out it's a bit more nuanced. Some people love the scented candle. Mrs. Gorman is amongst them. For her, it's a present. For other people, it's definitely a gift. So I've created a special circle of uncertainty for the scented candle. Frankincense. Frankincense.
Gift.
What do you reckon? Present or gift?
Gift.
It's a gift, isn't it? It's an awful present, especially for a baby. Very unwise. Never give frankincense to a baby. Very, very unwise.
Because no one knows what it
finally,
is.
ladies and gentlemen, finally, John Barrowman's autobiography.
Oh, present.
Anything goes. What do you think?
Present. I'd buy that.
No, it's a present. You people saying gift. It's a present. People love John Barrowman, especially John Barrowman. I love him. But it's a present. It's a present. Of course it is. You see, you understand the nuance, the difference between a present and a gift Now, my dad might be hard to buy for, but I remain determined to buy him presents and not gifts. And it's relatively easy for me to stay true to that aim because I have a relatively small present-giving tree. You are familiar with the concept of a present-giving tree, aren't you?
No.
Not a Christmas tree. It's like your family tree, but it just shows your present-giving commitments and connections. Yeah? I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine so you know what I'm talking about. That is the beginning of my family tree. My grandparents and their generation have all passed on, sadly, so my family tree, as far as present-giving, can start with my mum and dad. But John married Lindsay, and they had a daughter, Molly. Rich married Paula, and they have a daughter, Abby. My twin brother married Tracy, and they have 2 kids, Amy and Joe. However, things change and develop. So at some point in history, Rich divorced Paula, and so obviously we take her off the tree.
Right.
And no, don't think that's harsh.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Those are the family rules, aren't they?
Yeah.
And don't forget, she's also got her own present-giving tree, and I've just been removed from hers as well. That's what divorce does in a family. But then, before all this, really, when I was a kid, my mum and my dad divorced. However, my mum has remarried. I have a stepdad, a lovely fella called Mike. Rich, he's in another long-term relationship with a girl called Sam, and they've got a very recent new baby, a lovely girl called Evie. And of course, as you know, I am married, so I have my wife also, Beth, which gives it a total of 15. That is, a perfectly manageable total of gifts and presents to be buying during the year. But Mrs. Gorman, Beth, her present-giving tree is a bit more complicated than mine. Obviously, she's married to me, so obviously I'm on the tree. She has her mum and dad, who are still together. She's got one sister, Kath, who is married to Ian, and they have 2 gorgeous daughters, Amy and Lily, which gives her a total of 7. But she also has 8 girls from school, 6 uni mates, 4 from work, 1 friend she doesn't even like, who always buys her something, and at least a dozen others I don't understand. That is 38 or more a year. Christmas and birthdays makes at least 76 presents a year. If you have to have that kind of commitment, you surely have no choice but to abandon presents and stray into gift territory, don't you?
Yeah.
Some women have a present cupboard. A cupboard where they keep presents that'll do for anyone. And there's a word for those kind of presents, gifts.
Yeah.
They do it in case they suddenly find themselves in negative equity present-wise. If you have to get 76 or more presents a year, you have to resort to gifting, don't you? Unless you're lucky. If you're very lucky, and this is true for all of us, if you're very lucky, you'll know a fosburp. Yeah? Fosburps. You know fosburps. Fosburps are those people who have a bit of a thing for frogs or owls or zebras or badgers or elephants or rabbits or pigs. The important thing about the fosburp is that these are people who have decided that anything, any old bit of tat will be a perfect present for them, just so long as it features a representation of their favourite animal.
Yeah. My mum, she had a phase. So she had a little green Fiat. It was a Cinquecento, you know, the car that was in the In-Betweeners episode at the start of the month. Because it was green, she called it Ribbit. She's not like a fan of frogs or anything, but it was green, so she called it Ribbit. And her sister, my aunt, because my mum just called her car Ribbit, for 3 or 4 years after that, every birthday, every Christmas, anything that she could find that was frog related, you could guarantee my mum got it for her birthday Christmas. But then my mum is exactly just as bad, because she worked at a charity shop for a little bit, and I guarantee anytime something Doctor Who related came into the shop, she would ring me or text me and say, "Oh, Kevin, I've had this Doctor Who related item in today. Do you want it?" Most of the time, it was pure tat. So I'd say, "Thanks, Mum, but no thank you. I don't particularly want it." And what would happen? Every Christmas, in my yearly Christmas crap box, I would literally get all the stuff that was Doctor Who related that I said I didn't want, but I'm getting it for Christmas anyway. So what's the point of even asking me in the first place?
A salt and pepper set that looks like 2 owls, wonderful. Badger bookends, fantastic. A toilet roll holder that looks like a frog, brilliant.
I might actually got one.
Basically, these are people who have decided they like gifts. And let me be clear, when I say people, I think we all know, I mean women. I'm not saying there isn't a male equivalent. There are males of the species who obsess in the same way,
yeah.
Only they do it with dinosaurs. But there is a difference between the female of the species who surrounds themselves with effigies of, say, frogs, and the male of the species who surrounds themselves with effigies of dinosaurs. And the difference is that the dinosaur person is 7. The frog woman is 35. I'm not being critical. It's not for me, but it might well be for you, and that is absolutely okay. And deep down, I'm convinced that it comes from a really good place. The Fosburps, they don't really love badgers. They don't really love zebras. They just said they liked them one day, and when their friends bought them their zebra presents, they were too nice to say anything about it, and slowly it got out of hand.
Yep.
And when they saw how much stress present buying caused to their loved ones, they thought, do you know what would make me happy? My loved ones being stress-free, that's what. And so they decided to take one for the team. They became a badger lady and lived the rest of their life surrounded by badgernalia. And when they look around their house, and in particular at that one room of their house that is ruined, they look around their house at the badger coasters and the badger mugs and the badger tea cosy. Those badgers do make them happy, but not because they love badgers. It's because each time they look at one of those badgers, they know that someone they love had an easy time picking out a present. And when their children call them up and say, "What can I get for Dad for his birthday?" they see an opportunity to relieve the pressure even further by foisting something similar on someone else. And so they say, "Oh, just get him something with a cricket bat on, he loves cricket."
Yeah.
And so it spreads. And I think this must be why last Christmas my mother-in-law bought me this. And my mum bought me that. What the hell am I supposed to do with a mug in the shape of a jar of Marmite? It's not an easy mug to drink from, that. My mum has been to our house. We're not mismatched mugs kind of people. We have a row of nice mugs, matching mugs, on a shelf with all the handles pointing in the same direction.
Yep.
You can't put that on the end, it'll stick out like a sore thumb. I asked my mum, what the hell do you think I'm going to do with that? And she said, stick it on your desk and put some pens in it. Why? Why would I do that? She said, because you love Marmite. But I don't. I do like it, but you know what would be a really good present for someone who likes and eats Marmite?
Marmite!
Some Marmite! If you gave me a jar of Marmite, I'd have some Marmite. And when it was finished, I'd have something that looked like that. I could drink out of it if I wanted to, but I wouldn't even if it didn't have a mug, because it's not a very comfortable thing to drink out of. And my mum said, yeah, but if we both gave you a jar of Marmite for Christmas, you wouldn't finish them before next year. Exactly! What is it about a product that you know I wouldn't eat 2 jars a year of that makes you think, oh, he loves that more than all the other foodstuffs he gets through lots of? What on earth makes you think that I love Marmite? And she said, I read it in an interview. Apparently, they said it said quite a lot about you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll agree with me when I say that modern life is very much like Marmite. I don't mean that you either love it or you hate it. I just mean that it's good.
Ish.
Good night.
Oh my word. I guarantee you, no matter how you are ever feeling, if you are feeling a little bit down, oh, you just need to watch a bit of Dave Gorman. I tell you, he makes everything right with the world, doesn't he? Like, when I was at college, it wasn't until about college, so I was about 16, 17, that I first saw a Peter Kay stand-up. And I fell in love with him straight away because of the fact that when he tells stories, it's easy because so many people can relate to the stuff he talks about. And it is exactly the same with Dave. You know, that I think for me personally is why I just find him so utterly amazing, because he will just tell a story. I'm like, yes, I know that feeling. I've been there myself. He is absolutely fantastic. I've said it before. I will say it till I'm blue in the face. He is the most amazing storyteller, and I cannot wait to see and start a new show with him, which will be next month, which will be the Dave Gorman Important Astrology Experiment, which is basically taking the place of the monthly videos that I've been doing, which was Dave Gorman's Google, Are You Dave Gorman? Sorry, Dave's Google Aquaventure. That was a one-off that was back in January, which I absolutely loved, to be perfectly fair. No, that will be, so Modern Life is Goodish is still going to be a monthly series that's going to be coming out once a month. The Dave Gorman's Important Astrology Experiment will be happening once a month, so that will take us through to November, and we will obviously see that right before Christmas, and then yeah, there'll be other stuff of Dave Gorman that I will continue to try and check out. You know, I've heard of a show called Genius. I've heard a show, Dave Gorman's Terms and Conditions Apply, or something like that. So there's different things that we will, of course, continue to check out, because I love Dave Gorman so very much. And if you are a person who thinks I'm a bit Marmite and you really like me, then please subscribe to the channel and drop your comments down below. You know, please do consider that. Tell me what you think, as they say in this one. But if you are a Marmite person that you don't particularly like me, then you don't have to subscribe, and you don't have to watch any more of my videos, as much as I would love you to. But that is going to do it for today. Thank you so very much for joining me once again. But for today, my name is Kevin. I am a geek, and you have been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.